speaking of that, I'm gonna fuse housing and documentaries together because I've got a documentary for you to watch. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It's on Netflix. It's called Flint Town.
Oh, I saw the ad for it, but I have not watched it.
That is as must-see TV as anything I think I have ever watched online.
Now, what is it? It's a documentary, or is it a multi-part series?
It's a multi-part docu-series, I guess, on Flint, Michigan.
Right.
Like, for the last 2 years. And it's shot from the angle of the police department dealing with all these fucking yahoos in Flint.
Yeah, well, Flint has, is right up there. They rank the highest as far as a murder rate per capita.
Oh, it's just brutal, dude. They were saying that Flint has like roughly 100,000 people in it, and they're supposed to have 300 cops, and they have 98. And they showed a guy that got robbed and got his ass beat, and the cops showed up to his house to deal with his call 27 hours later.
Oh, 27 hours.
27 hours later. And the girl goes in, and he's like, I fucking called you yesterday. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And she, without even hesitating, she's like, sorry about that. What happened? Like he didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
Just she's so used to hearing how fucked they are that she just glossed right through it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we already heard this. What's the problem?
Exactly. But dude, it was such a fucking good. I'm not quite done with it yet. I'm not sure how many episodes it has, but I watched four episodes, or three or four. I don't remember. But I was just glued to it. I can't believe that that's a place in America. I can't fathom it. It looks like fucking Beirut.
Yeah, well, I did see another one, and again, just from the description, there's another one out there I saw that it says, I think it's called A Week in Watts.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that.
And it is also a, multi-part documentary type thing from a police perspective of policing Watts in California.
Oh, that has to be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there's anything more brutal than Flint, though. After watching this and they explained it about how there's no money, everybody's a criminal, and now they have no fucking water.
Yeah, well, we covered that. Remember that we covered that a little bit, where that commissioner or whatever lied about the whole water situation, and they had all the lead in the water and everything.
Yeah. Well, and they go into that, but then they go into how that has just increased the crime like 20-fold. Because the people are going crazy, A, because they're drinking fucking water with lead in it, and B, because the rest of them are feeling like fucking scum. They're feeling like fucking dirty scumbags because they can't even take a fucking shower. You got to watch it. It's called Flint Town.
Yeah, I did. I saw it pop up on the Netflix, so I will definitely check that out.
Unreal, man. I'm scared that it's close enough that people could drive here from Flint. That's actually scary to me after watching this documentary. It's like, can't we rope that off or something and keep them there?
Well, that's where that liberal douchebag Michael Moore is from.
Well, good. Put him in there and fucking blow the place up. My God, it just dude, I felt bad for the people. Quite honestly, I'm watching it and I felt bad for the people. I can't imagine why anyone would stay, though. I think I would take a chance being homeless, just getting on a bus for $69. I would scrape $69 together and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I think, who was it that said, I think Doug Stanhope made that point, because he was talking about playing up there, I think in Flint or whatever, and he said, dude, you can move.
Yeah. If from watching this documentary, if my living conditions were that bad, I'm really not leaving anything if I go straight homeless. If I go straight homeless but jump on a bus and get to Florida where I'm not cold, it's already an upgrade. It's already an upgrade. At least in Florida, I could jump in the ocean and fucking clean off a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, dude, they can't take a fucking shower. And they had this one scene, and it was just a short scene, like 15 seconds or something, but scary as fuck. It was this female cop, and she's rolling down the streets, and she was using the what do you call that light that they have on the mirror or whatever?
The spotlight.
The spotlight. And she just had it facing the buildings, the houses. She's in a neighborhood. And this shit, there was not a regular fucking house. Every house looked like a crack house. Every fucking house. And she just kept on driving, and it was just like, I would not be caught dead on that fucking street. Even if I was armed, I don't think I'd want to be on that street.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, I think this was like a early 90s movie with Emilio Estevez and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Anthony Piven and Dennis Leary. It's called Judgment Night.
I had the soundtrack. I never saw the movie.
You have to see that movie because that's exactly the scene. I'm not going to give the whole movie away, but I'll give you the premise here.
Right.
Anthony, Piven and Cuba Jr. and Emilio Estevez, they're all friends.
Okay.
So
Jeremy Piven, not Anthony.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven, exactly. They rent this motor home.
Okay.
And they're going to go to a fight at the Allstate Arena over here in Chicago.
Okay.
And all the traffic is backed up on the Chicago interstates.
Right.
So they decide to detour off the interstate and take the surface streets.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up in an area that's not there anymore. They knocked it down, but it was called Cabrini Green.
Okay, yeah.
And it's kind of like what you're describing as Flint.
Okay.
And all the buildings are all boarded up and, burned out. And, it's just a really dangerous place. And basically, Dennis Leary is like a drug lord down there.
Okay.
And he basically runs the neighborhood with the drugs, the money and everything.
Right.
And these guys witness a murder. And so Dennis Leary is chasing them through this neighborhood all night long.
Jeez.
So you need to see it. It's an old movie, but it kept me on the edge of my seat the first time I saw it. I think it came out like in 90 or 91.
I just got this text. Yeah, don't spoil a movie that's older than your girlfriend.
Very good. Touche. But, go check it out. It's called Judgment Night.
All right, I will check it out.
It's pretty good.
That's cool.
Yep. So, it's hard to believe that, in this day and age, especially in this country, that there are places like that.
Yeah.
But, that's what happens when corrupt governments get in charge and, run these places into the ground. Of course, Michael Moore blames General Motors for that because that's where, General Motors had their plants there. And that's what Flint basically based their entire economy was on, the General Motors plants.
Right.
But when they closed up and moved out of there, the place just went to shit.
Well, not much you can do about that, though, now, is there, except fix it. Get rid of these fucking corrupt assholes and do so. I can't imagine how do you fix it?
Well, you can't fix it, but, here's the thing, and I know not everyone has the wherewithal to do it, but my entire life, and people, prior to a certain time in our history, rather, when things went bad, people would get up and move. They would move. Mm-hmm. They would go to where the prosperity is.
Right.
People who lived in, say, Kentucky, moved out of Kentucky, migrated out of Kentucky to go to Pennsylvania to work in the coal mines.
Right.
Or people from, certain parts of the country, when things went bad, the economy was bad or whatever, you have to move.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I've done that on numerous occasions. I went where the opportunity was. I crisscrossed this country when my current gig ended, whatever that was I was doing at that time.
Right.
I would pick up and go to the next gig.
And Neely says...
Exactly. But that's what people used to do.
Right.
When even way back in the 1800s, when there was the gold rush to California,
right.
People would go to California.
Yeah.
So rather than just sit there and squalor, you need to pick it up and you need to go where the jobs are.
Yeah, you just got to move. You can't. I can't fathom. Why would you stay there? I mean, what holds people there?
Well, it's the same.
They have a roof.
Yeah, but it's the same way that people who are in like flood zones, they lose everything in a flood.
Right.
And the first thing they say is, well, we're not leaving. We're going to rebuild.
Go ahead.
You know, rather than go, yeah, I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
This is where my family came from. This is where we're from. This is where our people are at. We're going to just stay here. You know, it's like, yeah, get the fuck out of there.
Dude, if one street in my town looked like this street in fucking Flint, my ass would be in the car today. Now, we'd be broadcasting from studio wherever. Studio basement in somebody's fucking house if that's what I had to do. Because I would be gone. There's no way would I stay for that.
Right.
I can't fathom. I'm telling you, that documentary scared the shit out of me that's that close to me. Because how far is Flint from here? 4 hours?
From you, yeah, it's 4 hours. From me, it's about 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ooh. And you've got a buffer of fucking Gary in between. Ooh.
Look at Deep Cut in the chat room.
Let me see. That's funny.
So good. You just gotta look at our fans are just whack, man.
They are.
It's too funny. But yeah, I mean, you know, getting back to that though, that's what generations of people have done. It's just like when the opportunity ends or the prosperity ends, you sometimes you have to get up and move.
Right.
You got to go.
Yeah, and if you're currently housed in Flint, you got to go.
Yeah. It's like, hey, it ain't happening here. Well, you know, and that's the other thing. A comedian. I know you don't watch female comedians, but Kathleen Madigan.
Is there such thing?
Yeah, Kathleen Madigan. She talks about people, you know, like in Michigan.
Okay.
And people who you know, choose to stay. You know, they won't leave.
Right.
And it's just like, what was she saying? She was saying something about you know, oh well, it's going to come back. You know, they hold out this hope like it's going to come back. The economy is going to come back.
Sure it is.
You know, and it's just like, well, what are you going to do until that time happens?
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Oh, well, hey, if that's what they want to do, I'm fine. You know, in a way, I'm fine with that because at least that means they're not polluting my fucking city.
Don't you come here.
Yeah, stay fucking where you are.
Well, that's the same way with this Trump administration cracking down on the illegal immigrants.
Yeah, well, that's different. You can't do that.
Well, but see, here's the thing. It's just that when Trump took office, he took a lot of heat from like Angela Merkel over there in Germany.
Right.
And he took some heat from the, I'm not sure how, the prime minister of Sweden, because he said, look at the problem Sweden's having with their immigration problems.
Right.
And then Canada, the Trudeau was criticizing Trump about the immigration and this and that. You know, you're a xenophobe and you're a bigot and you're this and you're that. But then when the ICE started cracking down on a lot of these illegals, they started moving up toward Canada.
Right.
And first thing Trudeau says, don't come up here.
Yeah. Fuck you, pal.
Yeah. Don't come here. Hey, wait a minute. Weren't you just criticizing us for not taking the illegals? But now that they want to come there, you're like, don't come here?
Yeah.
No, that's your problem. I'm going to criticize you because it's your problem. But if you're going to come here, don't come here.
You know, Trudeau seems like he's a bag of shit.
Well, he is. He is. But my point is that it's easy to sit back from afar and point fingers and criticize. But then when it becomes your problem, all of a sudden it's just like, oh, whoa, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been there, but even 10 years ago, fucking like Niagara Falls had turned into little Afghanistan. Man.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, a lot of Muslims up in Michigan and upper state New York and places like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. It felt like a different country, all right, but not the one I thought I was going to.
It had brown people in it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It had a bunch of people, you know, putting together bombs and shit, it looked like.
Sure.
I don't know if that's true or not, but, trying to harness the force of that water to blow up a fucking plane or something.
Exactly. I see a picture in there of National Lampoon's Family Vacation.
Right.
And even way back then, when did that movie come out? Was that 80 or 81?
Ask your girlfriend to call her mom and ask.
Because that was out before she was even born.
Right.
But, yeah. They...
God damn it, Nathan.
That's too damn funny. Too damn funny. But, even then, they were saying in that movie where they got off the interstate in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Are you sure we're in the right place, Dad?" He goes, "Well, I think it's a good lesson to teach you kids to see all the urban blight. See all the urban blight around you kids?" And all of a sudden you hear a gunshot go off and they go, "Roll him up."
Roll him up. Isn't that, and he lost his tires and shit?
Yeah. While he was asking for directions, everybody came in and stole the hubcaps and everything.
Right. What was the name of it? What did he call his car?
It was the family truckster.
The truckster.
Yeah, the family truckster.
Piece of shit car.
Yeah, but even then, that was an issue.
Yep.
So, we're talking, 40 years ago.
Yeah, now look at it. Oof. Now they just shoot you in the head.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Now they wouldn't give you any directions. Here's the direction of my bullet to your skull. Just die.
Yeah. So, yes, Flint, Michigan, St. Louis, Chicago. Not even so much. And here's the thing about Chicago being the third largest market in the U.S. Mm-hmm. They have a higher murder rate than Los Angeles and New York City combined.
Oof.
Combined.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's time for me to rethink this trip in May.
You mean 2 trips in May?
2 trips in May. Boy, I'm really rolling the dice.
Yeah, you are.
I'm old enough. If it happens, it happens.
Right. Well, I will definitely check out Flint Town.
Yeah, check it out. It's good.
All right. Very good stuff. Well, what else is happening in the world of Aiken IT services? Did you venture out this week at all, or did you pretty much stay in after your 3 nights out last week?
Yeah, this was a stay in and work week, and not a good week. Was definitely not a good week. We had just money shit, just not lots of money, just money fuck ups. It was all museum stuff this week, and just this client got overbilled, and then last night we of course had a police incident at the museum. That's fun. Had to deal with that. Just one of them weeks, man. It's like, whew, you gotta be kidding me. I'm glad this week is over. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, here you are in the Classic Metal Show to unburden yourself of weekly problems and entertain the masses.
Yeah, well, and I need it this week because it just was one of those, like, every fucking dude. The worst part was more business than I need to put out there, but whatever. I gave all my guys a bonus 2 weeks ago. Not this week, but the week before, because everybody's been kicking ass and we've been kicking ass and we're still kicking ass. But, and I like the idea that we're all a fucking team, and I work that way, and, everybody has done really well. So I gave everybody some money.
Sure.
Trying to make everybody happy and understand that I appreciate that they're working hard, which means I don't have to fucking drive every goddamn week, So this week, on the back of that, everything went to shit. Customer complaints, customer reviews, the overcharge of a customer by $130. I spent the whole week doing like financial shit, digging through spreadsheets, looking for charges. And, I had another customer this week that they booked their party online and then contested the charge that they put when they booked their own fucking party.
Right.
And now I'm fighting with the fucking credit card company over the booking fees. It's like you booked it, you fucking jizz bucket.
Yeah.
Why are you contesting these fucking charges? But You know how that works, dude. And of course, the company immediately takes the money from me just to hold it. Not that it was a big deal. It was like $83 or some shit. You know, it wasn't like it was a huge amount of money, but I went to my account and it was $83 short. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, and then I get an email like 3 hours later. This charge is being contested by So it was one of those weeks, dude. Just, I was so glad that today my phone didn't ring with anybody, you know, having a problem.
Right.
You know, and the museum did fucking fantastic today. I will say that the museum did. I think today is a new high for us on a non-holiday for the most money that we've made in a day.
Nice.
So, you know, I mean, we're from a financial standpoint, we're kicking ass, but I don't like to have these kind of fucking issues, and I don't like police presence at my fucking gaming place.
Right.
You know, it's like, come on. You know, it's like, all right. You know, if you're going to act like an asshole, do it at the next guy's business.
Exactly. Don't do it here.
Yeah, go to Chuck E. Cheese. They like that shit over there.
Exactly. That is the place to be disruptive.
Yeah, that's the place that you can get on the World Wide Web if you act up over there.
Yeah, you could be on World Star.
Yeah, exactly.
World Star, baby. World Star.
Yep. So that was my week this week, was dealing with that kind of shit all week long. Yeah, I didn't go anywhere this week.
Wow.
Never left the house. Have not. I left the house today to put a check in the bank. That's it. Other than that, I did not leave the house one time.
All right. Very good. Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air. Hello?
Hail and kill. It's the return of Toby from Planet X.
Hey, Toby. I'm glad to know that you're not you're not buried in a hole in the desert somewhere.
Well, I was buried in a hole, and she let me go. She dug me out, and you know, that was after the golden shower and everything. I just had enough.
Right.
The desperation has its limits. You know?
She had very strong Kegel muscles or Kegel muscles.
Right.
Kegels. That's right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, you know, I nearly snapped off my wrist. In fact, I lost my wristwatch during the whole episode. That was it. In the words of Frank Zappa, wristwatch disco.
Exactly. So what do we owe the pleasure of your call from afar tonight?
Well, I just had my shower. I just listened to you guys, and I thought, hang on, this is about cars, and I was going to call in about a really shitty one, the Robin Reliant. Did you ever have that over there?
I don't think we had too many Reliant cars here at one point. I think Chrysler had the Chrysler K car. The Chrysler Reliant was a short-lived car that Lee Iacocca brought the Chrysler company back on, but I don't think it lasted very long. It was a very boxy little car.
Yep.
That's right. The one I'm talking about was a three-wheeler. Two at the back, one at the front, and you didn't in the UK. You didn't need a driver's license for it, just a motorcycle. I can't see that kind of car taking off in the US. It's a really tiny little thing, and it was already out of production when I was a kid. But you'd often see little old ladies with purple hair using them as glorified shopping trolleys to the supermarket. You know?
Yeah, it was like an enclosed scooter or something.
Yes. Anyhow, yeah, it's been a while. I thought I'd call in because I don't like to call in off topic, but I hear you guys are rambling. You know,
yeah, we are rambling. We're rambling about having young chicks for girlfriends. And I know how you like the young girls. I mean, I know you had a real taste for Kendall.
Well, yes. You know, I'm cleaning up my act. I spent the last 8 months, cleaning up my act, doing lots of self-help exercises, getting myself away from the young snatch. As it happens, I'm going into social work. Believe it or not, I don't want to like trip myself up here because it's, you never want to have someone say, "Did you hear him phone in this show? This racist, homophobic, anti-trans."
Is that what we are? We're racist and homophobic.
Long may it continue, sir. Long may it continue. I'm gonna change my name by deed poll. Toby? Never heard of him. Never heard of him. No.
Nice.
No, social work. That's going to be the future. So these towns that you're talking about, these leftover dustbins and places where people are desperate, miserable, at risk of being shot and stabbed. This is a lifetime supply of cash for me. And I've got another 25 years of work left in. So keep banging out the illegitimate kids. Let's keep having a few mentally ill strays walking around stabbing people in supermarkets, because I will be dealing with them. They will be my cases in another year's time.
It's good to know somebody's looking for those people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. I realize, where there's in England they say where there's muck, there's brass. In other words, where there's shit, there's money to be made. And we want more social discord, more disharmony, because I'm on the case. And it's quite a direction change. The heart and soul. I have to put on my sort of caring face and say, yes. Tell me why did you knife that old lady? Right. Oh, never mind. Let's talk. Let's sort this out over some tea and biscuits.
Do you ask him how do you really feel about that? Tell me about your feelings.
Yeah, unless we don't want to have a Blade Runner situation. Tell me about your mother. You want to know about my mother? Gun down over the table. No. Anyway, listen. I thought I'd save you the bother. I left a message last week on the request line.
Okay.
And believe it or not, I managed to see a hero of mine live in concert. I traveled all the way over there to see him. And it was, now, cue the groans, and the oh, for fuck's sake, you went all that way. No, I saw Morrissey live in concert, and that's after nearly, 20 years of missing his shows and stuff like that because of being abroad and so on. But I thought, fuck it, and this is probably going to be his last tour anyway. And outstanding.
Well, what is it that you like about? Well, what is it that you like about Morrissey? I mean, he's a little flamboyant for my taste, but what is it that you like about the guy?
Great songwriting, and he is in a way. Don't get me started, Neely. Goodness, this is next to Henry Rollins and Seth Putnam. This is my anal cunt. Plug. He's my hero. I mean, he's a poet. He's the true and real poet laureate of the UK. And lately, he's actually started to really irk the liberal left in a big way, which was kind of unusual because for many years he was their poster boy. They loved it, but lately he's been sounding off about immigration and identity of the country, going to the shitter and all this, that, and the other. So he kind of gets the right wing's backs up by constantly bagging on the police and so on, but at the same time, crossing those red lines about not freedom of speech and so on, and making a point of it at his shows. But great human being, and do you remember there was a guy that filled in between? Who was the guy that was on One Hot Minute, the Chili Peppers album? There was he's the
Dave Navarro.
Dave Navarro, thank you. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. I think between Dave Navarro leaving and Johnny Frusciante coming back, there was a fellow there. People can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a fellow called Jesse Tobias, and he's his lead guitarist. And that very good show. Very good show. It's sort of an indie, floppy kind of American big band equivalent of Guns N' Roses. It's pretty good now. I mean, it's solid. Great new album, which I can't even remember the name of. What's it called? Low in High School. Anyhow, the turning up at that show, let me tell you, it was just such a cross-section of different fans. I mean, there were people with Metallica tops there. You had your Green Day Brigade. You had people who sort of, the Moz Army, as they call them, with their quiffs, and also a few people from the Smiths era. But very, very intense fans. I met one guy there who this was his 27th show, and he was also one of these. He wasn't there this time, but he was, as in, he wasn't at the front of the show, but he was one of the people that is clamoring to be touched by Morrissey. Like just they all have their hands out, like cure me, heal me of my sickness. And of course, he sort of twinkles his fingers and goes, "You are blessed. Arise, my son." That kind of thing. And so Kiss fans and Morrissey fans, they're intense. And I tell you something, I'm getting the date and a slogan from the Smiths tattooed on my arm when I get back. That show, it was pretty blinding.
Wow.
Excellent stuff.
Well, you are a fan.
Yeah. I've got an LA Guns tattoo on my one arm, and the Morrissey, that's going to go on the other one.
Wow, that's quite a combination.
Well, yeah. I mean, they say that metalheads have the most diverse tastes in music. Anyway, people often say, a bunch of dummies or whatever, but no, that's nonsense. That is a load of crap.
Excellent.
An unfair stereotype.
Right.
All right, Toby.
Hey guys, quick question.
Go ahead.
Quick question. What the hell happened to my? One of the people I really enjoy calling into the show, Bob Leather, dropped in recently. He still makes an appearance now. What the hell happened to Doghouse? Come back, Doghouse. Come back to the real Jeff Tate. There's so much going on. Where is he?
I think Doghouse was run off by the hard conservative approach. That's a guess, but I have not heard from him in a while.
Oh, but come back, Doghouse. All is forgiven. Please. Or else I'm going to have to start stealing from him. I'm going to have to start. That's the threat. Next time I call in, it's going to be greetings and salutations.
Right. You'll be the Todd,
all right, fellas,
you'll be the Todd Latore of the Doghouse era.
That's right, the real Todd Latore.
I could be the real Todd Latore. I also could be. I sent Kendall a voice message doing an impersonation of Donald Trump. One of these days, I'm going to phone in. The real Donald Trump phones in. Exercise my alter ego.
Sure.
And probably not be compromised in the world of work and the ultra left, ultra sensitive, ultra extra soft centered world of social workers. Because we've got to be kind, We've got to be kind, and we've got to be fluffy
and nurturing and understanding.
That's right. When I'm sort of helping to rehouse a transgender on verge of a sex change with a criminal record, I'll have to be there, the caring face of the community.
Exactly. All right.
Indeed. All right, folks. Have a good evening.
All right, Toby.
And I'm off to work.
All right. Hail and kill.
Hail and kill. Fuck you, pal. Hand job. And fuck Def Leppard.
Well, our sense of humor translates to all corners of the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's amazing who finds our rhetoric funny.
Yeah, I know. Toby into social work. Oh boy.
Yeah, look at him. He just wants to help.
Yeah. Send him to India. Let's see if he can clean that place up.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think it's time.
I have an announcement.
Oh, you do? Go ahead.
I actually have something kind of cool that came together today.
All right.
That you are not even aware of, but we are going to do next week. Next week at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
All right.
So after the first break, like about this time next week, our good friend Anthony Esposito reached out to me today.
Okay.
And he wants to call in and he wants to do like an interview type thing. But he wants to specifically take calls on anything anybody wants to ask. He said straight up he wants it to be completely uncensored. If people want to know what happened with Lynch Mob and the problems him and Lynch have, he'll talk about it. Ace, he'll talk about what's going on with Red Dragon Cartel, what's going on with the Pisser Band, with the guys from Guns N' Roses. anything he's been involved in, he's wanting to talk to fans about.
And why all of a sudden now he wants to jump into the fray?
It's weird. He joined the CMS group, the CMS Facebook group.
Okay.
And was mixing it up a little bit with some of the fans, that were calling it out, calling out the new Red Dragon Cartel record. And he's obviously involved, and he's doing a lot of the production work on it as well. So he was answering the fans, and he just hit me up after and was like, hey, let's do, I hit him up after, and I said, dude, whenever you're ready to promote, obviously the door's open. We like Anthony. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Sure.
And he's like, well, what about if we do something now and then something when the record comes out in July? I was like, dude, fine. And he's like, well, I want to do it, but can we do it with fans? And I was like, yeah, if you want to open that door, sure. And he's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, anything anybody wants to ask, I'll be a straight shooter.
All right.
And I was like, okay. If he wants to call in, and if fans want to actually ask questions about Ace Frehley, about George Lynch, and am I wrong in thinking that he had not the best fallout with George?
Yeah, it was all over that Smoke This release.
Yeah. So, the Dokken people can ask him about that, and the Kiss people can ask about Ace Frehley and what happened there, and and find out what's going on with Jake and Red Dragon Cartel, and ask about that Darren guy that, got all fucked up and how he ended up back in the band. And, he's got a lot to say.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I mean, he's one of those guys who, if he isn't a member or a part of a project, he does a lot of behind the scenes and session work and things. Mm-hmm. So he, he's been around a long time and has had a lot of connections with a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's just fun to me that when these guys hit me up and they're like, that they like the show.
Yeah.
And he said specifically that. He said, I love what you guys do. I'm happy to come on and just do like a raw thing with the fans, because he doesn't get that, he obviously understands that he's not going to get that when he actually does. When they do real Red Dragon Cartel press, he's not going to do that.
No.
He's going to do a bunch of interviews that are like, oh, so Red Dragon Cartel, what's that like? He's going to get those interviews, and every question is going to be about Jake. So, he likes the fact that we'll ask him a bunch of shit, and he likes the fact that our fans are fucking assholes and we'll ask him real shit.
Right.
So door is open next week at 10 o'clock for any of you guys that are fans of Kiss, fans of Lynch Mob, fans of Dokken, fans of Red Dragon Cartel, Pisser, Guns N' Roses, whatever, because he works with all these guys. So, whatever you guys want to ask, he's up for, as well as me and you. I'm sure we'll ask a few questions ourselves, but door is open next week, 10 o'clock Eastern. Basically the start of the second hour of the show.
All right.
Yeah, look at that. And good point, Eddie Rocks. You do not have to pay $75 to talk to Anthony.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, this is not a Thrust Online interview. This is a Anthony Esposito.
Right. This is your friends at the Classic Metal Show giving you another freebie.
Yeah, we're paying the bill. We're paying Anthony his $75. We'll pay it for you fine fans. That's because we're giving.
Well, speaking of the what is that like, or what was that like question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was watching, you know who Mark Dice is.
Sure.
And he does a daily video podcast on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And he was basically covering this week how far Megyn Kelly has fallen.
Okay.
Because she was a big star on Fox News, and then she moved over to network television, and her debut over there did not go very well. And then they shifted her over to doing some kind of a morning type talk show, but it's more sensational stuff, kind of like Maury Povich or
TMZ or something.
It's more like Jerry Springer now.
Okay.
It's the shocking factor, just having controversial stuff on the show.
Okay.
And one of the topics that she was covering was some man and woman, some married couple who chose to exercise an open marriage for a year and document it.
Okay.
And so she had the wife on, and the first question out of her mouth was, "So, you slept with another man. What was that like?" That's exactly the question she asked.
And did you just cringe?
I did. As soon as that came out of her mouth, I was just like, "Oh my God."
You were like $14 million a year for that?
Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah. What do you think it was like? It was like a inch and a half round tube going up into a fucking tight vagina. That's not fucked adequately by a guy, which is why you needed the fucking open marriage.
Exactly. But I had to laugh because that was the question. What was that like?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So dumb stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's take a break. Next week,
right.
Did you say 9 o'clock Eastern or 10 o'clock Eastern?
10 Eastern, 9 your time.
All right. 10 o'clock Eastern, Anthony Esposito, current bassist of Red Dragon Cartel, will be on the show, and you guys can call in and ask questions.
Yep.
All right. Sounds like a plan. This week, the Judas Priest came out.
Yeah, everybody loves that.
Yeah, I know. And just hearing the first few songs that were released, I knew it was going to be a good record.
What'd you think? Did you listen to the whole thing?
I did. It's a classic Judas Priest record.
Wait, don't say that.
Why?
Because the one guy said we have to stop referring to it as a classic.
I don't know.
record.
It fits very comfortably into the classic Judas Priest catalog.
See, this is because you don't understand what is a classic.
Oh, okay.
You know, those albums from like Defenders of the Faith, Screamin', those are not classic.
They're not.
Classic is Rock-a-Rolla.
Oh, I see.
Highway, all the old classics. Point of Entry.
Gotcha.
Maybe British Steel, but that's a maybe. The ones you're listening to are the glossy ones.
Gotcha.
That's when the band started to lose it. And then Painkiller, that's just modern metal.
I see.
That's garbage. That's just modernized metal.
Right.
So stop calling it classic. You're making him cringe every time you say that.
Well, let me just put it to you this way. The new Judas Priest is the album that I think we've all been waiting for since Judas Priest reconvened with Rob Halford 15 years ago.
I think that's pretty accurate, yeah. It has something for everybody. For every fan, wherever you are as a fan of that band, you can find at least 2 songs you like on this record. I would say that's safe to say, wouldn't you?
I would agree.
I love it. I think it's very strong. I mean, is it unbelievable? Is it Screaming for Vengeance? No. But is it really, really good? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good record.
Best since Painkiller.
Yeah, the production is done well. Rob sounds great. The music is great.
Yeah.
The first couple of records or the first few records that they've put out, they've been, it's okay.
Yeah.
But this one, punch in the face.
Yeah. You get Andy Sneap in there playing guitar and it's all in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, sorry. Did I say that? I guess we're denying that now. Get Glenn Tipton in there playing those guitars.
Right. But I like it. So if you're a Priest fan, you might want to go check it out, and buy it, listen to it on Spotify, whatever it is that you do. But it's a good disc.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
They did a great job with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna play some Rock Karma.
All right.
And this one is dedicated to Judas Priest.
Yeah, since we can't play their shit.
Yeah. So this is Rock Karma dedicated to Judas Priest. This is Bring It. And they definitely do. So here it is. It's Rock Karma exclusively here
on your classic metal show.